Hello everybody, that's my cat Peikka. He also wanted to be in the video. He's been like going around me and he just wants to be here at the moment, so you're gonna see him a lot during this one. So I actually kind of changed my plans on a whim here. I wasn't going to do a video until I see Star Wars because, it's Star Wars and it's the 9th episode, so you kind of have to talk about it if you have a channel, even a starting channel, to talk about movies and stuff like that, so you kind of have to talk about it. But I'm gonna change my plans a little bit and I'm gonna do Stranded first. Okay? So, Stranded. Stranded is a Thailand original Netflix series. I think it's the first original one. I'm not sure, but this is what I heard. And it's on at least on Finnish Netflix, but I think it's on American and UK one too. Not sure about the other ones. Stranded tells a story of 36 high school students who survive a tsunami. And so it's basically a survival story, but with a little bit of like supernatural twist. So it's basically Lost without an airplane crash in a way. The story starts at the end of their school year. They're basically celebrating, they're just finishing high school, they're just going out to the world, and it's their last night on the island. The island is basically a small island, about 100 kilometers from the mainland, and there's this private high school in there, which they're now graduating from, and they're partying up this during the night at the highest point of the island. And because of this, they survive from a tsunami which hits the island and kills basically everybody else. And then this is like 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning, and then we cut 23 or 25 days later, where they have been already surviving on the island for quite a while and trying to find a way to contact the mainland and trying to find a way to get help because nobody has come for them. So that's the basic gist of it, but at first it kind of just feels like a normal survival story, how they handle everything. Like there's people who fall and broke their ribs, and there's people with, scars and wounds that gets infected and stuff like that. So they're just like dealing with everyday stuff at the survival situation. But then gradually there starts to be like these weird elements going on, like these weird things that keep on happening, and nobody really first knows why, and nobody even really notices, and they just kind of keep on piling and piling and piling until some people start to kind of notice. Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil the plot any more than that. So basically, Lost, not an airplane, but an island nonetheless, with weird shit going on. And it's only 7 episodes long, so it's quite fast to actually watch, so you can binge it like in a day, like no worries. There's gonna be probably a season 2, hopefully, because it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. Hopefully it's not gonna go the way the Lost did, and that's actually why I wanted to talk about this one. So I felt that this has quite a bit of a potential to be quite interesting, because they actually do put an effort on everybody's role on the island and before the island. So they have thought about, okay, what kind of person is this person at their core? What motivates them at their core? Because at the survival situation, your true nature kind of shows up a bit more than in a everyday life, where you kind of have to have a certain kind of mask on, especially if your behavior is unwanted, or like what you would want to do is something that you know that you shouldn't because of the other rules of the society. So that's kind of what they also kind of go through in themes in this series a little bit. So like I said, it's 7 episodes long, which is strength and a little bit of weakness also. I felt that there might have been good things that they could have opened up a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it's quite efficiently told story. There's the motivations, the actions make sense in a that kind of setting. There's only the supernatural parts are the ones that don't get opened up almost at all. Like the last episode is a little bit, but there's no explanation why the stuff is happening and how it connects to everything, and why these people, and why, you know, this day of all days, and there's none of that. So that's why I hope there's gonna be season 2. At the same time, hoping for the season 2, I still have this fear that it will take the same road as Lost, because Lost was at one point way more interested in the surprising elements, and didn't really like stop to think like, does it make sense, or why, or anything like. And even the characters started to feel like they were motivated by, you know, because the writer said so. I hate when writers do that, when they make the character do stuff that they wouldn't logically do. Like they have been established like having these motivations or having these characteristics, and then they don't do, like, I understand sometimes that people will go against their own, you know, motivations and stuff like that, but they don't really give a reason why. And Lost had a lot of that, and I didn't watch it up until the end, because I kind of just gave up on that one quite early on, because I kind of noticed that it was going that direction where it was more important to build the supernatural stuff and the weird stuff, and then it kind of felt like it didn't like fit together at all. So I'm kind of optimistic, hoping that the Stranded would be the Lost that we never got. So do you understand my drift here? Like, so I'm kind of hoping that Stranded might be the Lost we never got. Like, the story feels that they have been actually planning it from the get-go, unlike Lost, which kind of felt that they were just making stuff up as they went along. So I'm optimistic in a way for Stranded, but I also know that it's so easy to mess up things, especially with things that have supernatural elements in them, and suddenly you start to question things because you kind of realize that nothing makes sense. Like, if this happened, then that shouldn't have happened, and stuff like that. So that kind of brings me to the characters. And in this one, I was kind of happily surprised, because usually there's some character I dislike in a series. And it's not necessarily like I dislike a you know, Joffrey Baratheon, like I hate him, I want him to die. I still like the character because he's well written and you kind of understand everything he does. I hate characters that don't have their own personal voice and don't have characteristics, even though when they're like side characters. If I don't understand why they're doing stuff that they're doing, and it just feels like because the writer wants the character to do this because plot. And that's the worst way of doing characters to me. So I always, when I say I dislike a character, they're usually that kind of characters when I don't understand why they're doing those things, or is it just because, you know, the writer was like, I need somebody to do this, I have this character, I'm gonna use him or her, and that's kind of not the way you should do it, in my humble opinion. I don't want to spoil the series, so this is where I leave you. Just know that I think it's promising, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes, you know, suspense, kind of weird and supernatural elements and stuff like that. So hoping for a second season, and if there's gonna be a second season, I'm gonna see you there. Okay, bye.